This is Your Life. This is Eamon Andrews, and for the next few minutes, I am the hooded monster, or words thereabouts, and my intention is to gate crash a studio call, a photo call for grapplers, wrestlers that's taking place in the London Room, which is part of this building, and I've got to get there in time to get close to somebody, sort of daddy of the grunt and groan business, but to get in and get close to him, I need some camouflage. Now, my camouflage takes the shape of three sporting gentlemen. Gorgeous George, Kendo Nagasaki, and Giant Haystack. Come on, boys, I feel quite safe. Especially you, Giant, I need now.
What are you doing? All together, on cue. I didn't know there was so much in it into that camera up there. Ready? Are you going to give us it? 1, 2, 3, now. I didn't know there was so much in it. How was that? Terrible. One more time?
Yes. Out of tune.
Right. One more time. 1, 2, 3.
I didn't know there was so much in it.
You. Can you three guys get yourselves in? Because we're running a bit.
Well, I guess you know everyone here except the hooded monster.
Absolutely.
Good. Well, let's meet. Because star of wrestling, Big Daddy of them all, known to millions of wrestling fans as Big Daddy. Tonight, this is your life.
Never. On this show again,
Absolutely serious. And as the boys know, we have a whole theater of people waiting for you just next door. You've got time. Pat's there with your coat and everything else to put it on and change into the, the normal.
Well, thank you very much.
While I introduce your pals to the audience there, all right?
Thank you.
We just got seconds to spare. Jump into your pants and we're ready to go.
Smash it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Come on, let's go. Straight away, let's come to grips with my co-conspirators, every one of them a wrestling star. You've just met Giant Haystacks, Kendo Nagasaki, Gorgeous George, Mal Superstar Sanders, Bobby Barnes, Roy Sinclair, Tony Sinclair, Garrett Royal, Vic Faulkner, Jimmy Brake, Steve Gray, Pete Roberts, Mike Marino, Alan Dennison, Dave Bond, Wayne Bridges, Johnny Quango, Pete Tallyho, Kay, Mal Kojak, Kirk, Big Bruno Erlington, and Goldbelt Maxine. And the man about whom it's all about, Big Daddy. Here we go, Big Daddy. Come on.
Hello, mate. You've got a good seat, haven't you?
There we are. Well, that's your seat there. What is Gentlemen, thank you very much. And Big Daddy, as you're known to millions of television viewers and wrestling fans up and down the country, this is your life. And here's Big Daddy when he was just a little baby. And of course, Big Daddy, you've had quite a problem to wrestle with all your life, and by that I mean your Christian name, which is what?
Shirley.
It's Christian name. Shirley it is. Traditionally, of course, a man's name in your family in Yorkshire, yes?
Yes, it is.
Well, the little boy called Shirley Crabtree, eldest of 3 brothers, brought up by your late mill worker mother at number 5 Wilson Street, Halifax, is today very much a successful main event attraction. And here's Shirley Big Daddy Crabtree in action. Bouncing back there to notch up another victory using sheer guts. Now you were, of course, wearing one of your wrestling outfits which have helped make you such an outstanding figure in the ring.
And he's very particular about them being a nice fit to show off his fuller figure.
Of course, not only your costume maker, but also your wife, Eunice.
Little mother. Hello, darling.
With children, Paul, Linda, and 9-year-old Jane. And from St. Helens, their grandparents, Alfred and Emily Bowles. Eunice, as you have to take the measurements, does Shirley's figure alter very much?
Well, between 20 and 23 stone.
I see. And what about the weekend food? Shopping must be quite a problem.
Oh, well there, we don't take a car to the supermarket, we borrow a lorry and we fill it up.
Little monkey, I'll give you a belly button.
It's enough to fill a hotel.
Hey, what about him over there?
Jane, I'm sure that you'll be a familiar face to some of our viewers.
I lead him into the ring as his mascot, and he always wins when I'm there.
Well done. Well, now, back in your own childhood, Big Daddy, in Halifax, times were hard as your mother struggled to bring up her family on a meager mill wage. And one Christmas, more than 30 years ago, because she's no money for presents, the Salvation Army calls at your home to play Father Christmas.
And I don't know if he remembers, but we all do. They brought a very unusual present for our big brother.
Your brothers Max and Brian, and your half-brother Jeremy, and the wives of Max and Brian, Beryl and Susan.
Thank you.
Now, Max, tell me, what was your present that year the Salvation came round?
Well, Eamon, I remember it well. I received a lovely train set, and Brian got some lovely toy soldiers.
What else did you get, Brian?
I also got a Meccano set, Eamon.
And Max, what was the present your big brother here received?
Unfortunately, it was a beautiful dolly.
And the girls' annual.
And a girl's annual. How did you react to those presents, do you remember?
Absolutely choked. But the Salvation Army did a wonderful job. It was very nice.
Now, Brian, you're a former wrestler, now very well known in the ring as a referee. Apart from that present, do you recall Big Daddy here suffering from his Christian name as a youngster?
At that time, in the cinema world, there was a very famous star called Shirley, and it was Shirley Temple.
Yes, it was a bad time to be called Shirley.
Terrible.
Well, those early school days, anyhow, are spent at Pellon Lane Junior School, and like other children, you're warned every day by your mother not to lose a very valued possession.
Hey, Shirley, you haven't lost your hanky, have you?
He was at school with you back in the 1930s, former rugby league star Jack Wilkinson. Jack, what's all this about his hanky?
Well, Eamon, it's rather hard to bring to light now, but in the 30s, in the hard days there, a linen handkerchief was quite something, and possibly not something to just stick in your pocket. And I remember to this day that Shirley and I going to school at the age of 5 with these handkerchiefs pinned with a huge safety pin on our woolen jerseys, so we didn't lose them. And I'll bet to this day that if Shirley'd have lost his, that he'd have lost every pinfall with his mother. I'm sure of that.
Thank you, Jack Wilkinson. Your sport at school, in fact, is rugby. Yes. But you leave school at 14, and right away, to bring a much-needed boost to the family income, you start work as a doffer at Ackroyd's Worsted Spinning Mill in Halifax. Now, as a doffer, what did that mean, Shirley? What did you do?
Well, it was I used to take the bobbins off, and the ones that was full underneath, I would lift the cap off and put the other one on, and then I'd take them off, put them in a tub, and take them to the twisters to make into yarn.
Well, not an easy life for a boy of 14, but you're always ready to try and put a chuckle into the monotony of the long day. And one such day, you're walking past a huge lump of wool waste when you see one of the women workers busy at her machine. You stop, pick up the lump of waste, and not for the first time, score a direct hit. For a split second, she wonders what it is, and you run as she sets off after you.
And if I catch up with you, young Shirley Crabtree, I'll biff you on your buns with your bobbins.
From that day, 35 years ago, and she's here, now Mrs. Jansiuskas, but you are as Alice Stead.
In Yorkshire.
Alice, when you set out after him that day, having pitched the waste at you, did you catch him?
Oh yes, I caught him, but it was such a charmer that
thank you.
I never did, I never hit him, and he was so popular, and that was it. Like he just used to get away with it.
Mind you, I think there was a bit more to it than that, because you were also fellow conspirators when the boss was on the prowl.
Oh yes, he was a weightlifter then, and he used to lift me up to see if the boss was coming, and if the boss was coming, he'd drop me. Yes, that's right, isn't it, Shirley? And I bet you couldn't do it now.
Hey, I don't know. I'll have a
Gave her a bit of a shock, but an enjoyable shock.
Lovely, yes.
Well, for your weightlifting training, you go to a gym in nearby Bradford, and there, here you are, picture with Max at the time. And going to that gym changes the whole course of your life, for it's not only weightlifting you learn.
Remember, Shirley, that's where I taught you your first wrestling holds.
The owner of that Bradford gym, International Rugby League star and heavyweight champion wrestler, Sandy Orford.
You just still give him a good idea.
Yes, I did that, yes.
Well, Sandy, I suppose you could, but that's quite a few years ago. Now, how do you remember the young Crabtree?
He was one of those slim, tall boys. He came to train at my gymnasium, but I couldn't get him to train. All he wanted to do was to drink milk.
Why did he want to drink milk?
Well, you see, he was a fanatic on these foods.
Didn't want to put on too much weight, I suppose.
No, he didn't want to put on too much weight. But you see, he was a small, thin boy then. But I don't know since. He must have been making up all the chip butties he lost.
Excuse me, this man, Eamon, has the proud distinction of bumping our old man and me as well. He knows that, doesn't he? You can crack
Well, Shirley, you're still an enthusiastic weightlifter to this day, and didn't wonder because you used your muscle power to lift your family out of a needy existence to a better life, although sadly your first marriage failed, and these days you find yourself passing on keep fit tips to various people. And if you look at that screen, here's one of them taking her favorite exercise, singing star Anita Harris.
I've just been warming up on the ice, and the last time we met was at Crystal Palace when I And you gave me a few tips in the most gentlemanly way. Now, despite the fearsome reputation that goes before you, I still think you're my favorite big, cuddly gentleman of sport. Now, just to prove that I remember everything you taught me, I shall demonstrate the Big Daddy method of putting the weights down.
She's here to greet you again in person, singing, skating, and now weightlifting star Anita Harris.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. Just needs a ruby in there.
Hey, Cheetah. Thank you. Thank you, Anita.
But I dare say there's something Anita and a great many more of your present-day wrestling fans may not know, and that is Big Daddy was once in the Coldstream Guards. In fact, you were called up on the 7th of June, 1949, and get the train from Halifax to Caterham, where with all the other new recruits you fall in for your first inspection parade, and get this cutting comment on your appearance.
Now listen here, Goldilocks, get your hair cut.
He was with you as a new recruit on that day 30 years ago, and he's here to greet you for the first time since your Army days, former Guardsman Robert Robinson.
Hello.
Robert, how do you mean Goldilocks?
Well, it's 30 years ago, but in those days he had a mop of blonde curls.
True.
That is until he got his first Army haircut.
Yeah.
We're shorter than that.
Yeah. And we've kept it.
I haven't seen him since, but like a great many others, a fan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert Robinson. Well, after Dimov, you and your two brothers start to get professional wrestling bouts at 4 or sometimes a generous £5 a booking. But in those days you appeared on the wrestling bills under a different name.
That's when you paraded in the ring with the title, the Battling Guardsman.
Former European middleweight champion, here he comes, you say, one of the great names in wrestling, Mick McManus.
Hello, mate.
Well, Mick, Big Daddy was the battling guardsman, was he?
He certainly was. I remember he used to come in the ring with the bearskin, you know, the big Busby and his tunic and the swagger cane, and he used to march up the...
We have a picture to show it. But... But Mick, since he changed his name to Big Daddy, the ex-guardsman here makes use of a secret weapon, yeah?
Oh, the old belly button. Yeah. I remember once we were doing some publicity stuff, you know, at, I think it was at Crystal Palace, and there were some cameramen there, and there were various ring crew pods, and one of them said, that belly butt you do, what's it like? You know, how does it feel, you see? So Daddy sort of took a step and and the fella shot away and sat down, and Daddy stepped and went, ask a silly bloody question.
Thank you. I guess he might be up to something, so I...
He's only a middleweight.
Well, now, in the summer months in those days, when wrestling bookings were not so plentiful, you used your swimming skills to get a job as a lifeguard at Blackpool. Now, at the end of every working day, the town hall sends an official to take your report.
And you could bet the most amazing reports would always come from lifeguard Shirley Crabtree.
He heard some of those reports because he was a lifeguard with you at Blackpool 24 years ago. Someone who went on to become a British Olympic swimming coach, Hamilton Smith.
Hamilton. How are you, all right? Hey, good to see you, guys. I've been to Palace today. Thank you.
Hamilton, what was so amazing about Shirley's reports?
Well, the more pompous the official was who came to take these reports, the more mischievous Shirley's reports became. And the official would say, now, what happened today, Shirley? So Shirley would say, well, Hamilton and I have saved 3 redheads, 4 blondes, 16 brunettes, 3 dogs, a cat, and Dumbo the donkey. But seriously, I mean, he was a very, very popular person indeed. On the beach, people came from all over Lancashire and Yorkshire onto the beach just to see him. A really great fella.
Thank you, Hamilton Smith. Now, Max, at one time you were also a lifeguard at Blackpool, and there was one summer when his end-of-the-day report was no joke.
Yes, that's right, Eamon. Shirley and I used to get lumbered every Sunday. We're doing the Central Pier at Blackpool in the middle of the season. And on this particular occasion, some of the holidaymakers who was on the far end of the jetty, which is quite a long way out, alerted us that there was somebody in difficulty about 100 yards further out in the sea, which was quite a long way out because the tide was well in. And Shirley, who was a wonderful swimmer, took to the water and did a wonderful job. He went out and saved that, which I found later was a young lady. Marvellous.
And here's an extract, in fact, from a local newspaper report of that rescue 23 years ago. And as it said, Shirley, you got that girl just in time. Hundreds of holidaymakers cheered you as you got her to the beach. She was taken to hospital where, thanks to your action, she recovered and was taken back to her home in Cheshire.
And I haven't seen him from that day to this.
But we found her, the girl whose life you saved 23 years ago, Barbara Burkett.
Thank you. Hello, darling. Hey, you know what that is.
Barbara, you've a special reason for being surprised when we found you.
Yes, I have, Eamon. Even though Big Daddy's a television star, I didn't know it was the same person who saved me 23 years ago. Thank you.
I can always remember that I said to you, I said, look, darling, whatever you do, don't grab me. And I can always recall it was freezing cold, and I'm thinking, my God, I haven't got to go in today. And you was calling from the end of the pier there, and you was well out in the water, and I thought, my God, I hope she doesn't grab hold of me. But I was glad you and I took hold and I fetched you back to the shore. And if you recall, we got a wonderful clap, didn't we, from the end of the pier.
And you get another one now. Thank you, Barbara Burkett. Well, Shirley, from being the youngster with a funny name on a Halifax back street, you've muscled your way to the top in a tough business. And Big Haystacks here was having me. Do you find him tough in the ring?
Well, I found him, Eamon, to be my toughest opponent. He asks no quarters, he gives no quarters, and when that bell goes, it's war.
Well, it's a tough business, but Eunice, you tell me, how tough is he?
Outside the ring, no way. He's just a big, gentle giant, and he's a heart of gold.
Thank you.
Well, there's one family in particular who would agree with Eunice there, and a mum and dad who used to take their little girl along with them to your wrestling matches, and one day when you were on a bill in Derby, the little girl's father asked to see you and told you his daughter was going into hospital for a life-or-death operation for a brain tumour.
And when our daughter opened her eyes after that 4-hour operation, she couldn't have had a better surprise than a present from Big Daddy.
From their home in Codner, Derbyshire, the parents of that little girl, Ron and Maureen Froggatt.
Hello, darling. How are you? All right,
So, Ron, what did your daughter Kerry find?
Well, not only she'd got a get-well card from her hero Big Daddy, but he'd sent her some money to get some chocolates. And the surprise on her face, you know, we knew that she'd got the will to live again.
And Maureen, he sent your daughter more cards all the time she was in hospital.
Yes, he did. And when she recovered, we took her to see Big Daddy again, and he announced to the audience that he had got a very brave little girl in the audience that he'd like them to see. And he took her into the ring and presented her with a bouquet of flowers.
4 years after that very serious operation, she's here, Kerry Froggatt.
A little champion.
Shirley Crabtree, Big Daddy, this is your life.
God bless you.
My pleasure.
All right. Come on.